Now, so at this point, so you should get some idea how we use Gen AI to do different things, to plot, to create the audit report, to even make it more interactive, right? Which we can do it through the programming. And of course, in the last part, right, so we talk about how to do the mapping, and this is try to plot the attack based on the like location. So to plot the map, okay, so we need to somehow get the database of the map, right? So we have .mmdb file that is in the Moodle. So if you download, because the file is quite huge, so we cannot upload to Moodle. We need to somehow put in the our Google Drive. So you should be able to get that file. It's in this. So this is the MDB file. So once you click, it's going to download, and then you put it in the same folder. And once you do that, then you can do some plot. Okay, so this is the, now if you want to visualize, then you can do it. And it's going to create the picture and save it in threadmap.html. Okay, so once you have it, you can thread map here. So it's going to show the attack. And of course, with Plotly, so if you move the mouse to its spot, it's going to, you hover the mouse, it's going to show some information that matches this point. Okay, that's the good thing about Plotly. So it can somehow make the plot be more interactive. Okay, which of course sometimes if you want to, you have many information that you want to present on the map, you cannot put everything on the map, right? Because it will be too messy, right? So you can use this type of interactive where you point to a particular spot that sorry, that you are interested, and more information will be present once you hover. Okay, so that's the idea of using the Plotly to do the plot. Okay, and of course you can connect to the Gen AI Llama 3 to analyze the log, right? That's also something that I think you can try it later at home. Right, so that's also some analysis, right? And so that's all I want to cover for this part, which is about how to somehow use Gen AI to do the plot, right? And also to analyze and to create the audit report, okay? So that's the idea. So, and so to summarize, okay, so this is the plot that I mentioned earlier, right? So the trade origin. Of course, you can try to create a bubble plot, right? So you can try to modify the Plotly, the plot command so that it shows it uses the size to represent number of attacks on each spot. That also you can do it using Plotly as well. Of course, this is the plot to to create to plot the number of alert based on the severity that you can try as well. So this is the recommended prompt that we mentioned. So on conclusion, for this topic, we talk about some fundamentals of data visualization, some effective visualization, some pre-attentive attribute that we should focus in order to convey some information to viewers so they know what we want to present, right? And that we explore Plotly Express, which is a high-level concise Python library for create interactive visualization, right? So we try some of this a little bit. And then we talk a little bit about the Gen AI prompt for visualization. Okay, so with a good prompt, we can get a visualization, which in this case, we get the script, like plot script, that we need to somehow run it on VS Code. Okay, so that's also one way that you can try to use Gen AI for plotting. Okay, so that's the end of module 3. So the next part is module 4. Oh, by the way, for this module, any question? No question? Okay, so now let's move to module 4, right? Which is about the AI-assisted Surikata log analysis with Python and logql query in Loki, right? So for this part, because it involves setting up Loki server, Surikata, Grafana, which it has many components that we need to install and deploy, right? So to speed things up, so we will somehow do it in the type with demo, how it is implemented. Of course, if you want to do it by yourself, we have the VM on this model. You can try to download and then install on your computer and then try to run it. Okay, so for this part, I'll let Saul to somehow do a quick demo on this module 4. Okay, maybe you can share your screen. You need to stop share. Yeah. Stop share.
Hello, everyone. Right now, I'm going to do the demonstration about intelligent log analytics. Professor already mentioned about this morning. So let's talk about the architecture facts. So as you may see, there are services running Surikata, Prompte, Loki, and Grafana. Those 4 services are running in VM. We have already set up everything in VM, and we created an image, and we share with you. I think the image is not big, but you can review on manual lab file as well. So I would like to mention about a brief overview of each services. Surikata is IDS, Network Intrusion Detection System, mostly used in enterprise. And Prompte is used for log shipper. Loki is log aggregation system that store the log so that we can retrieve the log from anywhere. Then we use Grafana for display as a dashboard. So this is the normal workflow that we use in enterprise, and we can see that a lot of companies and enterprise, they use that workflow. That is normal. So as an analyst, what they need to do is to review the dashboard so that they can see how many alerts happenings what time. So in this case, we would like to add Gen AI in this workflow. So what we did is that when a user give a prompt, or let's say a user want to know how many alerts happen in the last few hours. So in this case, when the user give the input, at the time, Gen AI will try to translate that input into logql query. So then it will generate the logql query. So if the logql query is correct, then the system will retrieve the log from Loki. So it will return the logs. So at the time, element will get the response. Element will get the logs from Loki, and it will analyze and give the response, and it will do analysis and respond the analysis to the user. This is the workflow that we add Gen AI in our normal workflow.
So in this approach, so if for user, okay, if you prompt what happened, right? It will translate this prompt into query, right? That's what we, and that query is going to send to this Loki, which act like a database that contains the log, and then it send a response back. So that response is translated by Gen AI and then give the explanation, right? So that's also the architecture that Saul tried to explain. Okay.
So for VM, we have already
Can
set
you
up.
zoom a little bit. It's quite.
We can zoom. It's a little bit small, but we don't need to do anything a lot about this. We just need to run VM. Everything has already set up. For Windows, everything is okay, but for Mac user, there is an issue about low-key service. So our team has already fixed the issue, and you can find the configuration, the new configuration file for low-key for Mac user. So after you're running the VM at your Ubuntu server at VM, then you can retrieve the logs from low-key services. For this, we use okay. Let me explain about this system prompt first.
Too small.
Yes. You can also review in the files. We have already provided two files, intelligent log analysis.impy and bn, intelligent log analysis.py. So the first one is Jupyter Notebook that ranks XML queries. First, I would like to explain a little bit about this. Self.logql system prompt. It is the system prompt that gives the understanding about low-key to LMM. So of course, Llama 3x1 has general knowledge, but it might not know the exact information related to low-key. So we have to make sure that LMM understand well about low-key system. So this is the first step we have to make sure. So we give the prompt, and also we give the format of suricata log file, and as well as we give some queries, logql queries that can be translated based on the user prompt. And also we define what to do and what not to do, and also other related information we already clarify in this prompt. For low-key query, it doesn't. It can extract the time range. Mostly, it can get the information based on the JSON formats. So that's why for time range, so we write. We use other function to extract the time range based on the user prompt. Let's say here, last 1 hour, last 2 hours, last 15 minutes, something like that, because user may want to know the information like give me the alert or give me the TCP alert that happens 10 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago, something like that. In this case, we need to combine logql query and the time range. So that's why we need this function to extract the time range. So,
okay. Sorry, can you come back to the prompt again?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So it seems we need to somehow give a lots of prompt, right? Especially for this part, right? So you say that you inform the Llama 3 that you are logql expert, okay? And right, so that's the prompt, and this is some information. So it's like everything is given here. Then you go down a little bit, yeah. So you even give like some few shots, right? Few shots where this is the example, where for this prompt, this is the logql syntax, right? Okay, that's a lot. And there are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 examples for this prompt. Okay. So if we use less example, is it going to give a correct like interpretation?
No, if we can use a lot of queries, XML queries, it might be better for LMM to understand well about Loki.
Okay. But at this point, we try 7 examples.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. And what about these critical rules? Ignore all time-related information. Okay. So to parse, so there are a lot of detail. Okay. That we need to inform Llama 3.
Yes, because Llama 3 is just good for general knowledge, so it might not understand well about Loki. In this case, we can do tuning, but it might take a lot of time for in some cases. So instead of tuning, we make sure Llama 3 to understand well about Loki.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Wow. So that's a lot of prompting. Okay.
Sure. Okay, let's continue. This is the function to query from Llama 3. So when we get the log QL from LMM, so based on the system prompt above, Llama 3, we're trying to translate the natural English language into log QL query. Then for this, it will use this function. Then it will try to generate the log QL query. And yeah, after that, it will query the information, the log from the Loki services. Loki service, then it will return. And finally, we will get the response from Loki and here, so LMM will analyze the logs. So that is the overall. Right now, I think we can test.
Okay, just a moment. So this is the prompt for the Llama 3 to analyze the log, right? So analyze these logs. Do you have to say that it is the log QL expert?
We have already mentioned above.
Oh, okay. So this is provide a summary. Okay, that's also a very good thing. Also, do you need to provide like example? How do they convert from log QL response to natural language? You have to do it.
Pardon?
For this prompt, it will interpret the response from Loki, right, to natural language. So in this case, do we need to give some example to them? No need?
No need.
Oh, okay. Wow, this is very good. Okay.
So it started running. But we need to make sure that every services is running. Here, we have to put the correct IP address of Loki server, and also we need to put the correct IP of Llama. So right now everything is running in locally, so we can see that this is in local services. So for the connection, everything is successful so that we can get the response from Loki, and also Llama 3 is working. So this is the XML queries. So give me all logs in the last 1 hour. In this case, Llama 3, we're trying to translate this information to log QL query. Then we get the correct log QL query. So this is the correct log QL query that retrieve the alert log. So the time range is less 1 hour. So it is 14:55 to 15:55. Okay, so we found that 100 logs entry. So LMM started analyze those 100 logs, and right now we get the analytics from LMM. Okay, here you may see that the
Is it too small? Want to zoom a little bit? Maybe you can.
okay, the query, the prompt from the user is show me SRC source IMB from last 15 minutes. So, okay, so what element translate is this query? So what happened is that error connection to Loki. Sometimes we may face HTTP timer connection like that. So in this case, we don't get any information from Loki server because we lost the connection with Loki server. So the return will be no alerts or logs found for your query. And in this case, there will be no more analytics for the response because we don't have any logs to respond as well. Okay, for the other one, everything is looking well. What are the TCP alerts in the next 2 hours? So if give the correct log your query, the time range is also correct, 1356 to 1556. And yeah, we found the 1,000 log entries and it ranks the analysis. Okay.
So can you show the analysis? I mean, does it make sense?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. So this is the analysis.
Okay, so how do we know that this analysis is correct?
Of course, if we want to know the analysis is correct or not, we also need to know our system really well. As a network engineer or cybersecurity analyst, you have to make sure that you know your system really well so that you will, and also you need to know that the structure or the logs. In analytics, logs is really important because when the system happens errors, something like that, so we need to review the logs so that we may know what happened and how to fix it. So in this case, you need to understand really well about Surikata log. If your organization is using Surikata, if you understand really well, then you can get the insights and you may classify that whether it is correct or not. So can I continue?
Any questions?
Okay, this one is a little bit strange. Loki pass error. So let's see the log. So here, what do you need to understand? Actually, if your organization use Loki, you need to understand how Loki query works. So here, actually in Loki, the query for time range is impossible or it doesn't understand. But what LMM respond is that it include where timestamp greater than or equal. So in this case, equal or it gives some numbers. In this case, when Loki receive this query, it doesn't understand. So it can give any information or any logs back to LMM. That's why we see the error like this, API error, because it doesn't understand the log your queries. That's why it can't give the logs response. So apart from this, everything is working well. Yeah, it's working. So right now we can let's run interactive action, interactive mock. So okay, here user can
maybe you can
give the prompt.
Zoom a little
Sure.
bit.
Okay, first let's try test. Okay, everything is working. Okay, let's say we want to know the alerts from past 5 minutes. Okay, it gives the correct log your query. Let's check the time range is also correct. And here we found 0 log entries, so there is no analytics for this. What if we change to 30 minutes? Okay, log your query stay correct. The time range is stay correct. Okay, right now we got the logs and it started analyzing. Okay, right now we got the answer. So right now let's try with another one. Let's say
So can you explain the log that we got from the llama? What did it say?
Okay. So it's a lot of information because it gives analytics in detail. So if give the summary, the source IP, destination IP, and the protocol as well, what is the event type, and it gives the flow analysis as well. So in this case, you need to understand Suricata well. If not, you might not know what element giving the response. So it made other analysis related to the flows and flow duration as well, and also packet and byte counts also included. So these are a lot of information, so I don't want to go through because it will take a lot of time. So here what I want to mention one thing is hallucination. Okay, we get the prompt, how are you? Actually, it doesn't relate it to the system, even though it gives the correct log QR as well. And the time range is strange. 1504 to 1604, which is 1 hour. So because in the code, we put 1 hour for default. So if the user give the prompt not included time range, then we will give the information related to the past 1 hour. So that's why. So here, okay, so we got the Loki error. So error connection to Loki, HTTP timeout error. So we don't get any information. But if that one can connect to Loki, it will give the logs and element we analyze, even though the prompt is how are you. So we need to improve our system as well. So this is just, we run everything in terminal. So to improve that, we can add with FredM so that it will be like a chatbot. So this is the conclusion of the demonstration. Thank you.
Okay, before, do you have any queries you want to try? What's your name or whatever? Can you try what's your name yesterday? Yeah.
What's your name?
Yeah, we have the time, right?
What's your name yesterday?
Yesterday, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that we won't get the correct information.
Right.
Yeah, it
Well,
only understand.
It found log.
Yeah.
Also log.
It found out. Yeah. Yeah, it analyzes it. Actually, that does nonsense.
Okay, so it seems if the query has some time, right, it can somehow Loki will respond, right, given
Sure.
the time. Okay. Any more questions? Yes.
Hi. So yeah, somewhere in the code I see there you've written please, right, in your prompt. So how much does please help, by the way?
Pardon?
Saying please.
Please. What's your name, please?
My name?
Yes. In the prompt. Yeah.
I think somewhere in the prompt I saw that, right? It's written please give me answers for this, and it was correct. I mean, like, we're trying to look at the logs itself.
Okay, so can I enter now?
I think you need to specify the time, right?
Yeah, actually, there is no effect for using please, because we just trying to understand about the log QL and surikata and Loki.
So yeah, I mean, like the reason I asked this is because that was in the news, right? So a lot of people are using please and emotions, for AI, and that's actually consuming a lot of power, because because you need to process that as well, right? So
I think I can answer this a little bit.
But I think, oh yes.
Yeah. So there's actually a research paper saying that ChatGPT, when a lot of people ask for like saying please, thank you, it tries to give you a better result. But however, since we are using a very open source model, Llama, so it should not really show a effect using those words. But yeah, if you use please, thank you, LLM tries to answer better and tries to give you more information. It's like a very recent news and paper, so yeah.
yeah, so that's like printing out your emails. It's consuming more resources.
But this is Mistral, right? Mistral. So you used earlier is Mistral. Llama 3. Okay. Okay, that's the quick demo of how we can apply the Llama 3 to analyze the log. Okay, so you can see that still there are some issues that we need to deal with as well if you really want to somehow fully use Llama in this case, to analyze the log, right? Okay, so I think that's all for. Okay, yeah, so that's for module 4, right? So you should get some idea of how you can apply the like LLM to analyze the log query. Okay, so these are all the material. Okay, and now we are at the last part, which is about train the trainer, right? So it's about what would be. So before we go to this session, who plan to somehow use what we learned today to teach at your university institution? Okay. A couple of us. Okay, so sounds good. Okay, and so I think for that part, so let's say we start with the architecture that we deploy, right? So you can see that even people who are not here can still access the Llama 3 that we install in these physical servers, right? So maybe our team can present the architecture that we somehow develop for this workshop. Okay.
Okay, so I'll briefly talk about how the entire architecture for this workshop was set up. So is it viewable at the back? No? Okay. Yeah, okay. It's uploaded in module 5. So yeah. So first I'll talk about the on-premise workshop setting. So basically you can see here our hotel internet is the most like above layer. So to that we have connected 2 different routers, and each router is connected to a local server. So as you might have noticed, we have asked you to change the IP address from 192.168.1 1.10 and 1.20. So it basically means like we have two CPUs here, so which basically means that we have two servers. So one is 1.10 and the other is 1.20. So yeah, so it has both Llama and Mistral loaded into it. So the request that you're making is not going to the server outside, but it is actually going, directing it to this particular server. So on-site participants connect via Wi-Fi. So yeah, since the participants and the router and this server are in the same level, you can access the server easily without any issues. So this was relatively very straightforward. You can consider this type of setup to also be an example of something called forward tunnel. So where the participants are the client and this is the server and you simply make connection to it. However, there was an issue when we had online participants and we wanted them to use our servers. So whenever we make a query to ChatGPT, it usually goes to, yeah. How do you zoom out? Yeah. So whenever we make a query in ChatGPT, our questions, whatever request we make, it goes directly to the ChatGPT server. But but in our case, we wanted the request to be redirected to our servers. So for online, we had to create a bridge. So in our case, the bridge was an EC2 instance. So basically an EC2 instance, also called as Elastic Cloud Compute. So it's a product by AWS. So if you have used like GCP, it's called Compute Engine. If you have used Azure, it's called Azure VM. So it's like everything is the same thing. So basically this particular instance works as a bridge between our server and the online participants. So for example, our online participants are most people are from Cambodia. So what happens internally is that the online participants will send the request to our EC2 instance, and we have an EC2 instance which is basically connected to the local server there by tunnel forwarding actually. So what really happens is both of them listen to this particular port, 11434. So whenever a request is made to the EC2 instance, it is directed over here. This port forwarding is also called reverse tunnel. So why is it called reverse is because like in this case, what happens is, so since this is a closed network, right? So this server is not connected to the public internet. So it is connected to the hotel internet. So what happens is the server needs to explicitly tell its client that, okay, there's a place where you can come and talk to me. Without the server telling us that, it is not possible for anyone to access this particular thing. So what happens is instead of client requesting the server, in this case, it's the server telling that, okay, so I'll give you a port, you can come and talk to me through this port. So since it's being reversed here, so this is called reverse tunneling. So the server is telling, you can talk to me from this part, and the EC2 instance will tell that, okay, so I know where I can access this server from. So it goes to the, it talks to the same port. So yeah, that's how the communication happens. So it's relatively very smoother because like we are using same port values. You can see like here also it's like 11434. Here also it's 11434. So it's kind of very similar to do it. So if you want to go a little bit technical into it, so it's SSH. So basically the server that we have over here, we have a SSH with private keys here for authentication purposes. So having those keys, we exactly know that the request is coming from that particular EC2 instance. So that allows us to use our local server from anywhere across the world. Yeah, that's pretty much the overall architecture of how it works. So if you have any question, I'd love to answer.
Yes.
How can you assign which participant to go to each server?
Okay, so the reason that we had a list of IPs before was one of the reason we wanted the load to be distributed equally. So one of the server is the primary server, then the other is the secondary server. So by selecting the correct IP address, you can know like which server you're hitting. So like 10.1 is, say, like 10.1, 1.10 is like primary, then like 1.20 is like secondary. So you choose which server you want to do. So say like in one of the server, there's only Llama, and the other we have a Mistral. So in that case, in order to use Llama, you have to go to the Llama server, and in order to use Mistral, you have to go to Mistral server. But in our case, we have it installed in both of it. So like it would be like, irrespective of what server you have, you can use whatever you want, yeah.
Okay. So since you are public face the IP, have you already secured the API keys? Because if we got the IP and choose the Llama API status, we can see browser about the server status and the model status.
Yeah. So actually, this particular system is not 100% safe right now because, this was just for a very less participants. So if there's a real hacker who would like to breach into the system, I think he'd be able to do quite a little bit of damage here. But however, there's always like a layer. AWS, so AWS already has inbuilt mechanisms like we have safety checks like if the budget or like threshold of our server exceeds certain amount, the server like stops automatically. So we have added those things. However, this particular server is not as safe as you would imagine. And like this server will be closed immediately after this workshop is over. So yeah, it would not really be an issue, but yeah, I think a lot of safety checks needs to be made, like blocking IPs and restricting outer accesses and a lot of things still need to be done. But yeah, right now, I think someone can get their way inside somehow, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. How do you connect the local server to internet? Is it the IP public is directly to local server or the IP public which is connected with the EC2 is?
Okay, so the EC2 instance is we have a listener over here. So
Okay.
this particular server knows that it needs to listen at some port for this particular instance. So whenever somebody hits API request to this particular instance, since this is already listening, it will directly go to this particular server and generate the output and send it back to.
So there is an IP public in local server.
No. So here we are doing SSH tunneling. So this server has a SSH tunnel with the keys of EC2. So it knows that the EC2 is going to get some request and send it to me somehow. Yeah.
Okay.
So although the system is not very, very secure, but it's very difficult to breach as well because there's a lot of point of failure. Like the EC2, even this server is protected. So if you try, first you have to breach the AWS layer, and then after that you have to breach the local layer, and then you have to go inside and work. So it needs to be a really, really good hacker, a really advanced hacker to even breach such unsecure kind of pipeline. But this is basically, we just wanted to give you an idea of how you could create such an architecture for a simple workshop.
Any more questions?
Just the last one, I guess. So for that server, what kind of OS are you using? I mean, it's Ubuntu or Debian or
Yes.
CentOS?
For both of the case, we're using Ubuntu.
So you're installing hypervisor, right, on that? So both of them are VMs?
Uh, yes, yes.
Okay. So hypervisor, which hypervisor are you using? Proxmox?
I
Or
don't know.
VMware?
I'll have to confirm with the server there. So it's just a basic Ubuntu EC2 there. And regarding our internal server, I'll have to refer
I'm talking about the internal server.
Oh, okay. So I'll have to refer to the server technician who's out there. I don't really know, but like I just get the access to it because like I'm from a university, so we get the access to it. But like the entire mechanism of it is like something that we would have to like learn more about it.
No, the reason I'm asking is like how much CPU you can allocate to particular VM, right? So you can do that from the hypervisor itself. You can choose GPU, CPU, everything.
Yeah, so actually, even before we tried this, we actually installed the local models in AWS and tested it as well. But it was very slow, and turns out AWS now you need to request for GPU quotas, and you don't get a lot of quotas. So you get about 8 to 16 vCPUs. After 24 hours of request. So if you want something very large, either you should have a very good credit history with AWS, or you need to email the customer service and get extra GPUs with you. So that was the reason we came up with this hacky solution, actually. It's not a very good solution, but it works, so yeah.
So GPU is one thing, right? So, and what about the storage? Because you need to store a lot of data as well,
So
right?
no, in this case, we don't need to store a lot of data. And even this EC2 instance, the AWS instance, it does not need to be very large. So we are using T3 large, I think, yeah. So it's not a very big instance. It's relatively small because the only thing that this particular instance needs to do is like send the data there. And like since this server already knows where to listen to, so it's not a really issue. It's just like sending data from one channel to another channel. So there's not a lot of processing happening or...
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the EC2. I'm talking about the server that computes.
Here everything is happening, yeah. So this is basically configured by the internal AIT server. So yeah, I'll have to learn more about details of this actually.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll see that tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. Any more questions? All right, thank you. So hope you guys can replicate this and even come with something better. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So that's how we somehow set up the system, like Biraj, or what Biraj mentioned before. So at first, we want to install everything in the cloud, right? Because of the limitation of cloud provider, which I believe for other vendor, it's also the same, right? If you want to request a very somehow like high processing VM, then they don't allow us to use that easy, right? You need to make a request and wait. Maybe they may not grant request to us, right? But if you want to try it by yourself, maybe you don't need to somehow handle like 30 users. Maybe you don't need very big like VM to do this to install this language model, right? So that's also something that you can try as well. And for the question about the setup of this, maybe we can ask the like AI Center to give us some like some manual how do they install this server, right? So that if anyone want to try on this server, then they can try as well. Okay, so I think that's for the setup of this part. And before we jump to the post-test, okay, and any more questions on this? Okay. Okay. For the last part, it's not much I want to focus. I think some of you have some idea, right? So actually what I want to focus is like the active learning, where when we teach, we try to somehow engage with students, right? So that's some of the idea that we can try. Of course, with limited time, maybe it's not very somehow we don't have much time to do the interaction with students, but that's the key idea, right? To try to encourage participation, collaboration, and some thinking. But of course, for this class, we have students from online, right? Which, of course, if you teach before, you know that it is very, very challenging and difficult to engage both on-site and online, right? So yeah, I'm not sure anyone still online. Yeah, so that's also the challenge. But if you try to develop this active learning, then it's gonna try to somehow improve student engagement and motivation, right? And that's also some of the key idea. Okay, so these are some of the techniques that you can use when you somehow teach, right? So maybe you give some problem and try to solve, or let them work as a group, or even like ask some student to come out and present, right? That also several approaches that we can try to engage with students during the class. Okay, right? So that's also some of the idea. Of course, we have limited time, so we don't have much time to somehow try this approach where we have a small group of people. Of course, for this room, it is not that easy to move the table, right? So if you have a chance to somehow organize this learning and you perhaps use a room with where a student can move the table, then it will be easier to organize this type of learning, okay? Right, so that's also some of the idea that you can try, right? And for the next part, I think it's quite about the technology. So we use the LMS, where it is the place to manage all the learning material, right? So that's also something that we try. So for me, since I'm from academic, so I use Moodle, which is the open source, and many places also use this. Although I'm not sure for the company, maybe it's not very popular. What is used in KU? No. Oh yeah, yes. What LMS do you use? No. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay. Right. So that also, yeah, and I think that's also what we somehow have. Okay, so we can host this material, and actually, because this session is video recorded, so after it is done, so I will upload the video to YouTube, and I will keep this class, right, available. So if you want to come back and review, then you can access, and then you can see the video that I posted, right? So that also some of the benefit of using LMS, right? It is structured learning experience and interactive learning resources. You can customize and flexible, right? And yeah, communication tool. Okay, so that's for this part. I will skip this, and of course we have a quiz that we can use to somehow evaluate students. So I think you already tried quiz before, right? The pre-test, right? And this is if you want to use it, right? So this is a way you can create the quiz. Okay, so I will not go into the detail. Yeah, so there are different type of questions that you can use for Moodle. Multiple choice, that's the typical one. True, false, matching. Okay. Or you can even have a drag and drop. That's also possible as well. And the last part is SEB, Safe Exam Browser, right? Has anyone tried before? Yeah, what is it? Oh, okay, yeah, many students try, okay. What is it? Well, normally if you do exam on computer, right? If you are students, you cannot answer. What did you do? Yeah, ask ChatGPT, right? Okay, what is this? Well, so SEB is a like tool that come with Moodle so that you can lock the screen. So if you run it, then your screen is locked, right? So you cannot switch or do whatever, right? Unless you ask your friend, okay, what's the answer? So that's also something. Yeah, so the SEB, so it comes with Windows and Mac, okay? Right, so that's how you set up. So actually, if you connect to some like Zoom, so once you launch it, so it will automatically somehow inform you to turn off Zoom, right? Or any somehow connection to other external screen that it will be locked. Okay, so that's another thing that you can try if you want to somehow organize a test using LMS. Okay. And the last part is the cloud computing, and I mentioned about this earlier, right? So the idea is you want to start something, you don't have the money to invest, you want to try something, then you just rent it on the cloud, right? So that's the idea of cloud computing, right? So with the internet, right? So you have access to all those services, but of course it's not free. You have to pay, right? Pay as you go. It means if you use it, then you pay. If you stop, then you don't pay, right? So that's also the idea of cloud computing, right? And since it is already 3:34, so I don't want to go into the detail, okay? And right, so that's the quick summary of the last part, the train the trainer, where we explain how we develop this workshop, what approaches, what technology, tools that we use, right? For me, I really recommend that you have the LMS to somehow put everything in one place, then all the materials, all the tests, all the quiz, right? So that's also quite convenient. Okay, so I think that's all I want to cover. Any questions before we start the quiz? And what's next? Cruise, yes, yeah, cruise. Any more questions? Yes?
So, when we go back to our institutions, can we reuse these materials? I mean, like, do you have this link open for us so that we can reuse these materials in Moodle?
I think it's fine. Yeah, I can leave this open. So if, of course, I will not remove your account from this system. Yeah, I will keep it, which means you go back and you want to access, then you can, log into this URL, and it will link you to this LMS.
Sure.
Additional thing that I will put is the YouTube video of what we covered today.
And one more question, is that server still going to be up?
That's a good question. This is hosted in AIT, so sometimes if the rain, lightning, we have some network issue, then sometimes you cannot access, but we will try to somehow retrieve it back as soon as possible. But most of the time, it's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure, no problem. Okay, if there is no question, any more question? You seem to have question? No? Oh, okay. Well, actually, I can keep it as long as, AAT is still there. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it is. It's there. Although the thing is, you know that in this field, it evolves pretty fast, right? Which means some of these, right? For example, this architecture, maybe next year there may be some new way to do it, or even all those material that we cover, prompting, because AI keeps getting smarter, and smarter, right? Maybe some of the prompts are not valid or not necessary anymore, right? So that's something that I'm more concerned. Okay, if there is no more question, let's try post-test. So the post-test is in module 6. Okay, and don't worry, we don't use SEB in this class, right? So you are welcome to. Okay, I don't want to say it. Right? Okay, so I think you have until 5. Okay, 5 p.m. Okay, so once you are done with the post-test, don't forget to scan this QR code to fill the evaluation form for this session. And if you have any like comments, yeah, feel free to put into this form so that if we have a chance to do it again, maybe we